everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere this is going to be going and dropping and bebopping and all that goody good stuff. Welcome to the broadcast channel. I am Monty, your host, here at 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson. Hopefully, y'all are doing good. Hopefully, your weekend was really nice and you had a great time. Here we talk comic books, we talk movies, we talk artwork, we talk acting, we talk voice acting, we talk my works, from my comics to my comic books to my artwork and all that good stuff, to artwork that's up for sale, which we have a ton of right now as we speak. So, welcome to the show, everybody. Hopefully, everybody had a great weekend. I know it is Monday, bright and early. It is 3:56 a.m. right here where we are, and it's been a weekend. The weekend went fast, or so it seems on a regular basis. Sometimes the weekend just flies by faster than we really want it to. But how are you all doing out there? Hopefully, you guys are doing good. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate that. Please like, share, and follow as you normally would to anybody else, and hopefully with my channel as well. Again, here we talk comic books, we talk movies, we talk artwork, we talk all kinds of goody good stuff out here. And, this weekend was full up. We finished up pretty much getting all the trash out of the yard. If you've been following any of my stories or any of my posts or even my lives for any length of time, you will see that we've been cleaning up a lot of trash here in the yard, in the on the property. And with all of that, the dumpster leaves today. It goes by. It gets out of my hair, and there's still a touch of trash left to pick up out there in the back, but not as much as there used to be. Now, had I done this by hand, without the use or the help of my neighbor and their equipment, um, it probably would have taken me and the girlfriend probably about a year and a half to get all the trash out of the yard, out of that back section. But within 3 days, we had it all scooped up, dumped into the dumpster, the 14-yard dumpster, and it is ready to get out of our hair and out of our front yard today, which is awesome. It's always a good thing, that a good feeling whenever you do see that and it's ready to get out of here. But didn't figure it was going to fill up that entire dumpster until we were sitting there watching it and fill up with just the quarter of the stuff that we'd already pulled out. And then it's like, well, damn, I should have got the 20-yard dumpster instead of the 14-yard dumpster. And from there, it's just like, well, hopefully all this fits, and hopefully it's not over their 2,000-pound limit, which is 1 ton. 2,000 pounds is 1 ton. Go figure. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if I have to pay that extra overage on top of it, and I'll know by the end of today what I owe on that dumpster, because it's a set price, and if you go over their 2,000 pounds, you have to pay extra. So there you go. But no, this weekend was pretty jam packed of stuff. Um, Meaning that ended up with an impromptu photo shoot yesterday for a friend of mine. Went up to Devil's Den and had some fun. We could have had more fun, but um, we were up to Devil's Den and looking at the waterfalls and just walking around a bit. And then the photo shoot happened, and then we came back home. Then we had dinner with a friend, and that's how it goes sometimes. It's just a jam-packed weekend, and it was fun. It was uh, it was just a whirlwind weekend because it just wasn't long enough for the weekend, and the weekends never are long enough sometimes. Ugh, I'm sore. Woke up yesterday with a super stiff, tweaked back, lower back, and that's never fun when you try to bend over and pick stuff up or even try to move. It sucks. But welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions. I'm just looking at everything that I've got. I delivered, uh, well, he came and picked it up, his painting, one of the ones that I couldn't show. I'm getting ready to work on the chaos and anger for the awareness show that's happening within about 2 weeks. I think, no, 3 weeks. It's the 17th or the 19th of April, and I'll have those two pieces done here shortly. Not like right now, but before the show, and then I'll get started on the super secret. Excuse me. I'll get started on the super secret comic book cover, and then I've got two more waiting in the wings, and hopefully by then I'll have some more to work on as well. So if you need something drawn up for yourself, logos or whatever, hit me up, and we will get that going for you. Or you can have something like this right here. Dun, dun, dun. Art the Clown on his base, on a real saw blade. Yes, on a real saw blade. And it says the art of art on the piece down here. This you can set your cell phones on, you can set your keys on, you can set whatever you want on here. It is sealed, it is ready. If you get water on it, it's not going to hurt it. All that good stuff. But this is an actual saw blade that this is drawn on. Right there. So it is real. There is no fakeness to it. And, I've drawn Art the Clown on the saw blade. And that's just one that we've got. And the other one we've got is Billy the Puppet. I have him in clock form, or I have him in the same thing where you can have him on the base, and he sits and watches you while you do your housework or you do your office work, because this will look cool in your office as well. But right there, I want to play a game, is what it says on the base right there. And so you guys know you need these. Hit me up if you want one. I have these two for sale, plus the wall clock, which is behind me, way on the other side of the room. And I don't feel like getting up and grabbing it right now. But yeah, I got some voice recordings to do to redo on the script for a Power Rangers film where I played Champ. And I've got to redo my voice acting roles on it because they changed the script up just a little bit. And then I'm thinking about putting some comic books up for sale later on today. And don't know exactly what time that's going to happen, but I do have over 7,000 comic books sitting directly here to my right. And, it's time for some of them to start moving out of here. And especially the stuff that I don't really read, like Captain America and Falcon and the Captain America titles and things of that nature. But there's some Iron Man in here, those type things. And there's just some that I just don't read. And they were inherited to me. So, but for the most part, they're in really, really great shape. But it's just time for them to move on, to walk away, to leave me 100%. And I'm ready. So, what do we want to talk about today? We've already talked about how the weekend was kind of short lived and how, sometimes we wish the weekend would stretch on like the week does sometimes. or even months. Like everybody griped and complained of how long January was, and it was just like, um, no, January was just as long as it needed to be. It was, everybody was like, January is about to come to an end. It's been a year now since, you know, and it's just like, no, 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 don't even go there. I'm sorry, I'm adjusting my seat. It seems to tend to want to drop on me on a regular basis. But no, I will be posting a lot more artwork later on as well. So if you're interested in any artwork, be watching for it. It'll be dropping live later on. I don't gonna say live. It'll just be dropping on my pages, such as if you go up here, you can follow my pages on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, which you're already here on TikTok, and hopefully you're following already. We go live every other day. It used to be the odd days. Now it will be on the even days for the month of April, because the next day, because we go every other day, so that means I will not be going live tomorrow, which is the first. So right there, the second, boom, it changes to even days. It was all odd days for the month of March, and now in April it will be the even days there. So look forward to that, and it should be fun, funny, fun stuff. Okay, the pig is not awake. The pig is still sleeping, and we need to keep her that way. So, yes, I have a homestead as well, so that takes up parts of my time. We might have some buyers for our goats, which is good to get them off of our hands. We thought we were going to be goat people, but they didn't do what we wanted them to do for the most part. So we're going to just get out of the goat business and stick to the ducks and the chickens and the pig, and go that route. And this opens up our backyard again, and allows us to be able to do some more stuff in the yard that we weren't able to do before, just because of the goats and how we had to keep them separated from the dog and all of that good stuff. And good morning, Mr. Roy Joe Bradley Jr. Welcome to the show. Roy Joe Jr. just became the number one member of the team and the number one gifter badge. Congratulations, Mr. Roy Joe Bradley Jr. He sent me a heart. I appreciate it. He's got sent a popular video 9 times. But I appreciate it. I'm glad you're awake, buddy. I figured you'd be snarring logs out there, sawing some logs, sawing logs out there, 100%. But no, I'm looking forward to this week, to get a bunch of artwork out of the way. And like I said, I've already got one out of the way. Um, they've got two more payments on their David piece, and then it will be uh, in their hands. A friend of mine who commissioned a David piece from the Lost Boys. He just went to Taco Bell at 3 in the morning. I mean, it's 4 o'clock now, but wow. Excuse me, Taco Bell this early in the morning. Wow, you should have went to like Brahms or something and got you some bag of burritos. Unless you got some burritos at Taco Bell, some breakfast burritos. But that's just a little too early for Taco Bell. I mean, unless you're coming off a bender, and you've been smoking some of that funky weed stuff, and that's why you're going to Taco Bell. Yeah, I know Brahms is closed. They need to be open 24 hours, I guess, like Taco Bell, so that you can get your burritos from Brahms, or some biscuits and gravy, some good white gravy. But welcome everybody to the show. This is a little dry show today. It's a little lackluster, if you will. Um, just because I finished up some things, and so there's not tons of stuff to talk about right this moment. I mean, there's stuff to talk about. You've always got all kinds of different things you can talk about. Cause all you gotta do is look at something on your desk and be like, "Oh, Gorilla Glue. Let's talk about Gorilla Glue and how good it is." No, I'm just kidding. Because we're not promoting Gorilla Glue here. now we need Brisk to sponsor us. I do need those sponsors. So Brisk, sponsor me. Send me some good stuff like your fruit punch or your lemonade. But no, seriously, I am looking for sponsors to help offset costs. So if you are a mega corporation out there and you want to help sponsor, come my way and we'll talk. And I always looking for sponsorships like some people get with their shows and things like that. Oh, we can talk about some MREs. I was going to talk about that on one of the live shows. We picked up 2 boxes of MREs. Did you see Spider-Man won't be in Doomsday? Yeah, they have 27 confirmed characters coming into the Doomsday universe. Um, of course, they had Robert Downey Jr. sitting next to all the empty chairs, and I'm guessing that Spider-Man is not going to be there, uh, any form, fashion, or another in any of them, from Andrew Garfield to Tobey Maguire or Tom Holland, which is kind of surprising that he won't be there. But Lane, thank you for that. I hadn't seen that actually. So I just saw that they announced the 27 actors going to be on there. So ah, so the filming. So it's a filming issue, which I don't see why it would be an issue because I mean he's already in costume and they're already filming it all. So just throw him in some of the scenes. But apparently because Spider-Man 4 is set during Doomsday. So well, I mean that's interesting. I mean because Spider-Man is becoming. Oh, okay. Not just the filming, but the story wise. I got you. I got you. So, well, that makes sense, I guess, that they're not going to throw him in there. But it's kind of sad, because it, any of the derivatives could be a good lending hand in there. I mean, they could even throw in the Tobey Maguire one in there. Yes, he will be in Secret Wars. I did see that, and so there's a lot of cool MCU movies coming out and everybody's looking forward to. So that'll be exciting, and I'm looking forward to some of the new stuff coming out, even though it's gonna change some things um, when it's all said and done. But that's how they do their movies. They take some storyline and then change it out there. I lost one of my Bigfoots up on top of my screen. I gotta figure out where he went. He took a nosedive. But yeah, so it should be interesting. I'm just hoping for street level Spider-Man to fight crime with Daredevil. Yeah, I mean that would be cool because they're confirming that some of the Netflix shows that are now on Disney Plus now, and that are several of them that are moving to Disney Plus are going to be in some of the new MCU shows. Daredevil, the Charlie Cox version, is going to be in there. What the hell? Hold on, guys. So now I'm getting a live visibility restricted. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results because your live does not comply with the For You feed. eligibility standards under our community guidelines, discussing drugs or other regulated substances. Okay, so when did I discuss drugs? Someone please tell me. I'm serious. When did I discuss drugs on the show? Not a single time have I discussed drugs on the show. So TikTok, you're full of shit, and that's my opinion. Wow. So someone out there is reporting my broadcast as doing stuff that I am not doing, apparently, or their AI algorithm is doing some funky shit out there. So I'm going to have to appeal them once again on stuff that isn't being talked about. Wow. Some comments in the live were filtered to protect the community's experience. TikTok, you are becoming a joke when it comes to your AI algorithms and shit like that. Let's just go that direction, shall we? Because I don't know where you're coming up with this stuff that I'm talking about, stuff that I'm not. This is the second or third time that you do that on TikTok. And not to mention that, you know, we talk about awareness programs to help people, and you restrict those broadcasts as well. Exactly. When did you discuss anything bad? We're talking about Marvel movies. Exactly. And yet, here I get this restriction that says I'm talking about drugs and things that are detrimental to people's health. Um, yeah, TikTok is starting to become a serious joke when it comes to this stuff. And Facebook isn't much better when it comes to their AI algorithms that they're using. AI sucks 100%. That's why us artists hate artificial intelligence all the way around. Um, if you go to my Facebook page, you can see one of the posts that another artist uh, put out there discussing why AI art sucks. And, I'm surprised it wasn't taken down. But, but yeah, when you're talking Marvel movies uh, and life experiences, and it has nothing to do with the other that they banned me for, or not banned me for, but just restricted me on. It's like you guys need to actually have a moderator sit in on some live shows. And if you want, those type of subjects, and then you can physically say, "Hey, you are restricted." I can show you. I can point you to some shows that talk about that and that show other stuff. You know, like flashturbation out there, like you know, um, yeah, TikTok, TikToy, as he puts it, is being stupid again. Yeah, 100%. And it's just like, but yet I can say nothing about that subject that they're restricting me for. But yet, either somebody went in there and put that in there and said, "Hey, he's talking about this," and then TikTok is like, "Oh, he's talking about this, so now you're restricted in certain areas." He had to run to his car for his debit card. You could have just left it in your car. Ain't nobody going to steal that. And now I have to sit here with this little stupid restriction right here. This says restrictions right there. And it's just like, for talking about Marvel movies, for talking about a dumpster, for talking about goats, for talking about artwork, comic books, and nothing about paraphernalia. I mean, you guys on your AI algorithms seriously need to have a moderator sit in on some live shows. And I guarantee mine would not be the one that needs to be restricted out there 100%. Especially those that go on for, 3 hours and um, the female is scantily clad, no bra, and it's very obvious. And it's very obvious how she's getting all of her views and likes. I mean, let's just go that route. And then they're talking about every comment that is coming across their screen, and you know, and they're not very nice comments because they're derogatory towards her, but you know, she's eating it up. You used your new flashlight. That's awesome. Yeah, he's got a couple flashlights for us to use. So we're talking about flashlights now, TikTok. Flashlights, okay? And it just infuriates me sometimes. And with PTSD, it always goes really well because that sets the tone for the day. Uh, oh lordy, that means I'm going to be doing a lot of destruction work today at some point in time. And yeah, that means doing some wood chopping or something that is going to be building some things. Probably digging some new holes for the post to go in, but I've already got 3 holes dug, and then I can dig some more because yeah, I'll be super frustrated by then. I got 10 posts to put in because that's all the concrete that I was able to pick up at the time this weekend. But Lane said he finished all of the Invincible comics the other day. They were so good. I loved the artwork. Yeah, Invincible is really good, including the cartoon that they've got going on, which I believe is on Prime. Um, and they're doing a really good job on that. It's very old school feel to it. I haven't read any of the comic books, but I've seen them out there, and I've almost picked them up. I've almost come really close to picking them up. But Lane, if you're following me on anything else like Facebook or Instagram, I will be putting some comic books up for sale. Some old Bronze Age era comic books that I don't read anymore or never read in the first place because I'm not a fan of certain people. The Invincible show is so good. Kirkham says he wants to make 11 seasons in total. And that it's very possible that they could do that, especially if they follow basically what the comic books are doing. It wouldn't be hard for them to uh, continue that series on for a long period of time because I'm guessing that the comic book is still an ongoing thing right now. So with each episode, they could do 2 to 3 episodes off of one comic book in reality if they wanted to go that route. But I'm not sure. Like again, I haven't watched it or read any of them, and so I don't know if the cartoon is following the comic books at all. 144 issues and 11 seasons with one season per year. Only one could hope. Yeah, no, I get that. It would be very cool. Like I said, I haven't followed it. I know about it, and I've seen it all over the place, and I've wanted to watch the cartoon, um, but it's just on my wait to watch list because I'm doing so much in a day as it stands that you know I just throw on stuff in the background that I don't technically have to watch. Like right now, I'm watching Lost in Space, the 1960, what was it, 69 original, set in 1997, and then they skipped 3 years ahead to 2000 to 2001, so almost 4 years ahead. And looking at what they thought the future would look like from the 1960s to the 1990s, and boy, did they get it wrong. I mean, yeah, we're getting closer and closer to that space flight where everybody can go up into the Jupiter too, if you will. But yeah, no, it's all fun. So I just throw that on in the background while I'm doing artwork, and I let it run. So that's why I haven't watched a whole lot of new shows, because as I'm doing artwork, I'm like trying to watch that show, and if you ever get the chance to get them, Invincible is such a good read, and I'm not doubting you on that, because I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's one of those bloody comic books where um it's got a lot of action, it's got a lot of good artwork, the blood flies, the cursing goes, all that good stuff, and yeah, it's something that I need to get into 100%. And maybe with the sale of some of these comic books over here, I can possibly do that. You know, because you got to get rid of some things to get some new things, to get some new toys, to get some new shiny toys. So, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that because I do have a lot that I'm going to get rid of. So, yeah, no, I've been into comic books for a very long time, and Lane says that he's not really into comic books that much, but he thought he would give it a try and give them a chance. And no, I get it. There's a lot of people that never got into comic books. It's honestly made me want to get into comic books. Well, good, and that's what it's about, because I wasn't into comic books, and we'll just take my era whenever I started reading comic books. It was 1988 whenever I picked up my first comic book, and it might have been a little bit, or well, no, it was 88 because that comic book came out in 86. So it might have been 87, 86, 87, somewhere in that range. When I was spending the months with my grandparents during the summer, a friend of mine down the way, who we played Dungeons and Dragons. Oh my gosh, am I going to get restricted for that one too? Um, and he had comic books. He had a subscription to Marvel Comics, and Uncanny X Men was his subscription. And he had some other ones, but Uncanny X Men was my draw. And I have the very first comic I ever read that he handed me to read in a encapsulated 9.2 back here on the wall in the office. And exactly. Yeah, Roy says he's never really gotten into comic books either. You need to, man. Lots of comic book shows out there to get you started, to get you wanting to read some comics. Um, but I picked up this comic book and I read it cover to cover, front to back. Even read the ads and stuff like that in there. And it was the first comic book that captured my attention, if you will. And so I was hooked on the Uncanny X Men after that. Um, so I started getting everything I could later on in life, especially in the 90s, whenever I had a job, and started buying comic books up. Um, and had I not sold them for a house I no longer live in, or a woman I'm no longer married to, for a down payment to a house, I would almost have every Uncanny X Men comic book from the 1963 run out there, because I did have number one. I didn't have the the sought after 96 that everybody's looking for as well, but yes, I get that, Mr. Roy. You're waiting on my comic book to read. Yes, I'm waiting for that too. It's just going slow with all the commissions that I've got going on right now, which I'm happy for the commissions. And don't get me wrong, keep going with the commissions. Bring them in. Let me draw some stuff for you. But that means when I'm doing commissions and things like that, it takes me off of my own projects, and which means my comic book is sitting in the wings, being written, which I'm 18 pages in on book one still. Um, but you always go back and reread and tweak some things here and there. But I am looking forward to my own comic book coming out as well, Mr. Roy. Joe Bradley Jr., welcome to the show again. Hopefully, you don't have to run out to your car for anything else, like you left your Taco Bell out there or something. Excuse me. Again. Um, but no, comic books open up a whole new world, and no, I'm not going to do the whole song and dance routine. That I can't give the title yet, Mr. Lane. I'm keeping it a little bit under wraps because I will tell you what it's about. It's about an antagonist hero who didn't want the mantle of being a hero. He just wanted to be a person. He just wanted to live his life, grow old, and die. And thank you, Mr. Roy Joe Bradley. And he got these powers thrust on him as a curse, if you will. And he he didn't want it. Period. And but you're in this comic book, you're gonna have all kinds of stuff. You're gonna have the wilderness. You're gonna have Bigfoot. You're gonna have aliens. You're gonna have um, mythological creatures from pixies and fairies to uh, who knows what else. I haven't really decided what all mythological characters like gnomes and trolls and things of that nature out there in it. And but you're also going to have the main character. You're going to have a few offshoot characters that will be his rivals, if you will. I can't really call them villains in the story because if you look at the main character, you could call him a villain as well. I mean, that would be cool. As Mr. Lane says, he says, imagine it becoming big. It becomes big, and you get your own Amazon Prime show. I mean, that would be awesome. I would be all for it. And I'm hoping it. In some ways, I'm hoping it becomes big, but in other ways too, I'm just hoping that it sells. Because the market for indie comics, the small press comic, is one of those that's super tough niche, especially if you can't get it crowdfunded through Kickstarter or something like that. It makes it very difficult to get the sales out. Yes, I'll be going to comic book conventions with it. Yes, that will be my main draw for comic book conventions and things like that. But um, if people aren't interested in it and they don't enjoy the content, it's dead. It's dead in the water. If your Kickstarter doesn't get funded, which you have to go above and beyond your target goal because Kickstarter takes X amount of that profit that you make for producing the comic book, I mean printing the comic book out, and things of that nature. It just makes it more difficult to try and get that book sold on a regular basis. Um, and that's what I'm looking to do is get it funded first, and then see where it goes from there. Because it's going to be a 4 issue miniseries, and the reason for a 4 issue miniseries is because the nostalgia of the 1980s and early 90s when Marvel used to take its main characters from its group setting, like the Uncanny X-Men. They would take Nightcrawler, Storm, Gambit, Wolverine. Uh, yes, you like the new Captain America movie. Invincible would have never finished if the publisher never told Kirkham to rush the story a bit. Yeah, yeah, and I need to rush my story a bit, but I'm also wanting to do it right because there is so many. There's going to be a whole lot of interchangeable parts in there, if you will. And like I said, Roy Joe Bradley loved the new Captain America movie, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm it's out there to watch. And but no, I know that I want to do mine right. So even if it takes me this entire year to write the script for my books, which is only 4 issues, like I said, because Marvel, um, basically something was supposed to happen in issue 24, they told him to put it in issue 6, which is jumping ahead way, way above where he wanted it to be. But I get that. I mean, sometimes you've got to do things for the good of the comic. But again, 4 issue miniseries. It's going to have my main cover for each book, and then I'm going to draw in 3 other artists to work on a cover per book. Um, just because I want to showcase other people's work as well. Now, I'm not going to do like some artists do with their work and have 8 to 10 different people come on and do a cover for the book. That's just way too many, because I want to keep the price down as well, so that people can afford to get all 16 covers to this comic book. Because that's what it entails. Because four covers per book, 4 books, so that's 16 total covers. And like Lane said, he said it just wasn't selling on the Invincible side until he did that, and it led to 144 issues and a TV show. No, I get it. I mean, 100%. I totally get what you're saying, and I'm hoping that something like that happens with this book, and one of these days I'll get the name out there. And the reason I don't do that until exactly what's happening in the book right now is because I don't want somebody else to take my idea and run with it. It is the whole idea, because I've seen that happen one too many times. And you know, and I've only got a little bit here, a little bit there. I have nothing concrete together. I hope your book gets big. That would be awesome. Me too, man. Lane, I appreciate that, Lane, because you know, with the support of people like you guys out there for it all, it can be. It because you guys would be the word of mouth to push it out there and get other people interested in that book. If you liked it. Now, if you hated it, I would want to know, because it's just like why I'm doing the reviews for Antarctic Press with Ben Dunn and his troupe of comics that, in his realm of Antarctic Press, because he wants honest reviews of the books. And there's been some things that I've hated, and I've said that. And there's been some artwork in there that I didn't like, period, and how the foreshadowing and stuff like that, or the how it was drawn, just didn't go well in there at all. And that's the type of stuff he wants. He wants honest reviews, and that's what I want. I want an honest review of my work, because I'm doing it all. I'm writing the book, I'm illustrating the book, I'm inking the book. Now, I will have professional colors done, but with that being said, my covers will be painted covers. So, um, I'm not just going to have somebody, send me something in for a cover that looks like it was done in crayon, or, those type of things. Now, if it's warranted and, that's part of the storyline, cool, let's do it. But, I'm not looking for the amateur hour look on my book. And I know there's tons of people that will go that route and just get the book out any way, shape, and form, even if it is in crayon form. And some go on to be successful, and others just flop. Well, awesome. As Mr. Lane says here, he said, "All you had to say was Bigfoot, aliens, and good artwork. I'm all in." Well, there you go. That's what's going to be in there. There's going to be aliens and Bigfoots, the cryptids, and a lot of people don't know what a cryptid is in today's society, which is kind of sad. But you know, the only thing I haven't seen in this list right here is the aliens. I've seen the UFOs that they're in, but I haven't seen the aliens themselves. Um, I mean, even my logo is an alien, you know, and because I'm a big believer in cryptids. I've seen Bigfoot, and a lot of people. I was telling the story just yesterday, and they thought I was crazy when I was telling it. and because they've never seen it themselves. So, um, you know, but then you get all the footage of the things in the woods and that nobody can explain, and the knocks and all that good stuff. But a lot of people don't believe in anything, you know, even when it's staring them right in the face. Like I live in a haunted house, so there's going to be spooks and specters in my comic book as well. Um, I get poltergeist activity on a regular basis. Mr. Roy Joe Bradley Jr. says, I didn't know until you schooled me on it. What a cryptid was. And, yep, they call Bigfoot folklore. But my thing is, folklore came from somewhere. Yes, and that's why, all these depictions of the different things that you see through paintings, through hieroglyphs, through writing, someone saw something somewhere. Bigfoot, alien, mermaids, the different chupacabras. Everything is based on folklore, and you know, and folklore, like you said, came from somewhere, or we wouldn't have all these depictions of these creatures that you see out there. Because even with the rudimentric way that hieroglyphs were done, you can't tell me that they didn't see something otherworldly, especially when they're drawing UFOs, when they're drawing people with oddly shaped heads, creatures that have been melded together, Horus, I mean, so on and so forth. This world was made millions of years ago, and we haven't discovered everything yet. No, they haven't. They've explored more of the space than they have the ocean. There's still bottomless pits in the ocean that we've never even been to. They what was the percentage? It's something like 15% of the ocean's been explored, whereas like 85% of the stars have been explored. And there's still caves that haven't even been explored on this planet. And yes, with the way technology is improving and advancing, it's going to be very difficult for things to hide, you know. But they also correlate aliens and Bigfoot sightings together, because it's like you see a UFO and then you see a Bigfoot, and then once the UFO is gone, the Bigfoot is gone. But they also say that the Bigfoot can step through wormholes and go from point A to point B in a matter of seconds. So it's how it goes. They say megalodons are extinct, but I really think it's alive in the Mariana Trench. Only 15% of the so only 15% of the oceans have been explored, and it's very possible that that the megalodon could be down there. I mean, they're finding teeth all the time from a megalodon, and so yeah, megalodons are thousands of years old, and but yet we're still finding teeth that aren't technically fossilized. 100%. But yeah, no, I mean, there's so much out there in this world that we have yet to explore, and so many people are skeptics when it comes to certain things out there, especially when you talk about Bigfoot or aliens or even ghosts. You know, people try to come up with a rational explanation for ghostesses, and it just doesn't work because people tried to tell me it's environmental. You get little earth trimmers and things like that to knock stuff off your wall. Yeah, no, not here. um, because I can pound on my wall out here, and that coin isn't going to fly off because it's sitting behind, a rock. Government cover-up, says Roy. No, I mean, but there are a lot of that. But a lot of that stuff's coming to light now. they're letting out the documentation on all that stuff. Um, but no, I do have a coin up here that's called a hobo coin. That that there is no way in hell or heaven that it would have ended up right here on this keyboard or in front of this keyboard where it was sitting, tails up, in any way, shape, or form. Because for it to do that, that means it had to literally fly off the wall at a diagonal angle, mind you, and land right here, on the desk with a quarter of an inch to the edge of the desk. I think we have technology for time machine, and we probably do. There's probably a lot of technology out there. And this coin was behind a rock on a little plastic shelf that has a lip on it. So even for it to get knocked over means it just gets knocked over on that shelf. I'm a big believer in everything you've said. I've had some ghost experiences myself. They're fun. I like them. Mine all started when I saw a demon when I was a kid, when I was probably about 10 years old, and I haven't stopped seeing stuff since. And it was that demon experience that that opened my eyes truly to that stuff. Um, and and it's just like you can't unsee that. Just think Amityville Horror when she's looking out the window and those two red glowing eyes. You know, that was the same experience I had, just in a mirror. So, that's why I keep this little guy around on a regular basis, so that I can catch EVPs here in the office that happen on a regular basis. And I've caught some good ones. Just can't understand what they're saying, but we also use the spirit box and things of that nature. So, in here, in the office, and in the house, because we get it all over the place. But, for that coin to fly at a diagonal from where it sits, because if it flew off the wall, it would have landed over there. Okay, and it would have landed in my windowsill because it would have fallen straight over the lip of that piece of shelving, and then straight down, and it would have ended up in my windowsill right there. But uh, like in Doctor Who, yes, we could have the TARDIS out there, Roy. When you saw Bigfoot, was he just chilling or was he just walking? Well, actually, it was after a big storm, and there was all this debris from the storm that had blown through, and it had knocked some trees down over the trail where I was at, and the hiking trail, and he was chilling up on top of this log that was, I mean, it was a massive log. I mean, probably about, oh, good, 4 foot around, if I had to guess, maybe 5 foot around. And they hadn't cleared it off the trail yet. And he was up on top of it with his back to me. He heard me coming around the bend, and I just happened to see him split second jump off the log, arms out, flailed out, and you could hear him thud on the other side and then take off into the trees. And he was gone. He ran off. And that whole experience of continuing the hike after seeing it, because at first when I saw it coming around the corner, I thought it was a vulture, a big old turkey vulture sitting on top of this thing. But then it jumped up and landed with its, like I said, arms go out, no wings and fur, and he hits the ground, takes off running into the woods, and disappears. So, so yeah, he wasn't just chilling. I mean, he wasn't just walking; he was just chilling. So, like he was looking for his next meal, meaning like a rabbit or something to come across his path. And I interrupted that, and he took off. And the rest of the hike, it just felt like you know I felt eyes on me the rest of the trip because I'm pretty sure he was watching me from the woods. So I was caught off guard because I didn't even have a camera out. I didn't have, I wasn't video footaging anything. I was just out for a hike, and boom, there he was. Like you said, that's wild. I would have been crazily crazy good, caught off guard. But yeah, no, I was completely, and it's just like seeing a UFO as as I drive, as I'm driving, and you see something in the sky, and the next thing you know, you see it go really fast. It's just like, well, that's not natural, you know. And I've seen that more than once. And then I've seen the string of lights in the sky. You're thinking that it's those Chinese lanterns that people light off and set off and send up, but those are at different uh, depths, if you will, different heights. But this was all in a straight row, and it was hovering way in the sky. It wasn't like someone's string of lights on their house or anything like that, but high in the sky, straight across. And then you look back, and they're all gone. No satellite train. No satellite train. Um, because there was probably about 10 to 15 lights side by side, uniform at the same exact distance, but probably about 300 foot off the ground, maybe. And then next thing you know, you you recollect what you're seeing finally, and you turn back around or even look in your rear view or side view mirror, and there's absolutely nothing there, you know, and it's just gone, poof, disappears, and you still have clear line of sight to it all. So yeah, yeah, I mean, I've seen all kinds of different of UFOs out there as well, and a lot of them have come in Arkansas form. So, but I've seen several in Oklahoma as well. Arkansas was my Bigfoot experience. Um, Ghosts and shadow figures and apparitions and things like that have followed me pretty much my entire life. So I might be the one that's haunted. I don't know. It might not be the house. That's cool. No, this, yeah, I mean, I get that. I understand about the satellites and how they can be side by side and in a row. But this was a lot lower than a satellite. I mean, this was in our atmosphere. This wasn't, in the space section. And so, and, but no, this was, like I said, about 300 foot off the ground. And it was pretty interesting. I mean, and no, I wasn't the only one in the car that saw it. I used to be in Oklahoma. That's where I grew up most of my life, in the Bethany, Oklahoma area, right outside Oklahoma City. And moved over to Fort Smith after Shawnee, Oklahoma, where I resided the past X amount of years, up until 2010. And then I moved to Fort Smith, Arkansas. I know that well. I used to work for the Yukon Review. So small world. And Mustang was a stomping ground. Used to go over there a lot. But yeah, no, Yukon Review. I used to work there when Garth Brooks got Garth Brooks Boulevard. I was on that newspaper team and the art department there. That was in the 90s, 1991 to be, as a matter of fact, early 1991. Because in '92 I worked for Award Design Metals in Noble, Oklahoma, and did that until 2001 when the owner retired, and then moved over to Dell City with Midwest Trophy Manufacturing. Horrible company, but they do good things, and they especially hated when I joined the military in 2004. So that's what made them a horrible company. I wasn't alive then, but the Garth Brooks story sounds cool. A lot of people weren't that joined my show. They weren't alive back in the '90s. But yeah, 1991, uh, early 91, Garth Brooks Boulevard was named. And, I did the whole newspaper that was involved in that. The 90s, one of the best decades ever. It was cool. I liked the 80s, especially when MTV was MTV and you had music videos playing on a regular basis and none of this live TV shit that they do. And, you actually got to watch music videos instead of nowadays when you have to wade through millions of live TV shows and whatever else they air until they get to, oh, let's throw you two videos on the MTV channel, music television, and watch those two videos and then, oh, straight back to Jersey Shore, that type of shit. And I hated that. Once they started changing over, I left MTV and VH1 in a heartbeat. Um, because I didn't want to watch a reality TV show. I watched MTV for the music videos, you know, and that was the only reason I really watched those shows. Yo, MTV Raps, awesome show. Yeah, when Vanilla Ice was on there. But yeah, that was when music was music. Really, I mean, all of the good music videos. Now you have to go find those music videos. I mean, Apple Music makes it a little bit easier to find because they include the videos with the artist and stuff like that. But yeah, trying to wade through all of the reality TV shit is not for me. I'm not a reality TV guy. I mean, I will watch a couple of things here and there, especially if they're survival shows, not Survivor, but survival shows. And then I watch Barnyard Builders. I watch anything that deals with gardens or building and things of that nature. Now, when it comes to those home reno shows, especially if they're giving them to somebody or things like that, I've heard, those are pretty much rigged things. Um, he likes ridiculousness on MTV. See. I don't even know what that is. Impractical Jokers, if you're talking that, yeah, I've seen those. But I don't watch them like religiously like a lot of people do. Oh yeah, 100%. I remember on Saturday night, MTV would just play heavy metal music. Roy, it was called Headbangers Ball. Yes, I remember that very well. That's generally the time frame that I would really watch the most because I wasn't into the pop music back then, and like a lot of people were into NSYNC and Boys to Men and all that stuff. It's like America's Funniest Videos, but more darker and funnier. I get that. I mean, I can understand that. Thank you. Couldn't remember the name. Yes, Headbangers Ball on MTV because that's when the true people came out to watch music videos. Um, and they did play a few of that type of stuff, but nothing as heavy as they played at Headbangers Ball. And so, but yeah, there was a different era back then when you could actually watch music videos and not have to wade through a bunch of other stuff just to get to your music videos. And VH1 was the same, and there was another one out there, and I can't remember what it was called right off the top of my head, but another music channel that played nothing but music videos. And now, again, you have to go somewhere specific to find the video for a song, if they've even made the video. Roy says he's watched the show that you're talking about, Lane, and it's funny stuff as well. Been fun chatting. Love your streams. I gotta go to bed. Have a good day. And Roy said, "Man, show." Well, I appreciate you, Lane. I appreciate you bringing some commentary to the show. You're a good dude. Please go like, share, and follow the rest of my stuff. Go follow me on Facebook. Go follow me on Instagram, and I will do the same, just like I did here. And that's how communities grow and friendships happen. Just like Mr. Roy Joe Bradley here We used to work together, and we became friends because we're Dallas Cowboys fans. Yeah, I kind of figured you did, and I will make sure that I do follow you. I've seen some new requests come through, so are you the same name on all your other channels, or what are you on the Facebook and Instagram? Because I try to follow everybody back. And Mr. Roy says, Lane, have an awesome day, buddy. An awesome day of sleep until he gets up again for the nighttime. For his headbangers ball. But you have a good one, Lane, and we will talk to you later because I'm about to practically end it myself here. Not to go to sleep, but to get some artwork going and glowing.